Welcome, number ones. This reading is specifically for those who are born on the 1st, the 10th, the 19th, or the 28th of any month. Your number is ruled by the sun, and the sun is not just confidence. It's your soul, it's your identity, it's your self-respect, it's your authority. And also, it's the part of you that wants to stand out and also wants to stand on your own 2 feet. Number ones are very independent. They're very, thought-provoking people. Very intelligent, I must say. Very logical. I like doing things their way. We'll find out how that goes. That's why the number one people often have natural leadership skills. So even, for example, even if you aren't a leader, let's say at a company or in a project or whatever, you guys end up getting a lot of things to take ownership of or take accountability of. It could be in your personal life when you're making some plans with your friends. They'll be like, oh yeah, they'll sort it out. They know what they're doing. So, naturally responsibility comes to you. And to an extent, you guys don't mind it. You like to, sort of guide people or sort of advise, but at the same time, it would work in your favor if you set boundaries with it. You like to fix things too, and somehow people also expect you to, and I think that's the part that gets you, which I think is not really fair. Like, why do you expect me to do it? Naturally, if you say something yourself and you want to do it yourself because you've said it, it's a different thing. I mean, it is all psychology, but obviously, if someone just expects things of you, it's not the best thing sometimes. And in relationships, your love language sort of thing is someone who gives you freedom, gives you your own voice, gives you choice. You need someone who supports you. Supports you obviously in your everyday life, but it's also that fire or that risk-taking sort of energy that you have, that you really want to do something. It could be really crazy and you just want someone that's like, you know what, yeah, do it, I got your back. So, someone who tries to control you, tries to mold you their way sort of thing, it wouldn't really work out. And the next part is very interesting. So next time you're talking to someone or speaking with someone, I'd like you to reflect on your relationship with them and think of their birth number. So, number ones are usually compatible, be it friendship, be it romantic relationship, or be it general sort of, a relationship. Could be your business partner, could be your partner, so any sort of relationship. Number ones usually get along really well with the number 2s, the number 3s, and number 5s. But with the number 1s and number 4s, number 7, number 6s, and number 8s, the energy can become more intense. It kind of depends on the maturity of the relationship. Of course, there's so many different factors that play a part, but it's really important that I think you guys understand the compatibility with these numbers, because sometimes, you just feel an instant connection intuitively. You kind of just get along with that person. So that's, I think you should be aware of those. Because those are also conflicting energies. They also like to make their own sort of mark. So it can be. So especially if you're leading a team, if you're at work, if you're working on any sort of project or anything like that, it's good to know someone's birthday. Just ask them, oh, when's your birthday? Your colours. The colours that suit you, obviously the sun, so yellow. Goes without saying, gold, yellow, orange, and red. So today, we're going to go into the cards. Just want you to kind of ask yourself this one thing. Where in your life are you being called? It could be, something that you're passionate about, something, you have a big interest in, but you don't know where to start. But also, the key focus is going to be leadership. Lead, because that comes naturally to you. Though it might not be so formal at the moment, it could be a different setting. Like, for example, I mean, this is not the best of scenarios, but for example, if you're, a carer, for example, for someone in your family, that is still leadership. It's nothing less. Of course, it's been romanticized in the corporate world, but leadership, it's, you're showing people the way, you're helping people. It could be in the smallest of things. Even sometimes if you're working with animals, for example, and if you're looking after the animals, you're also leading the way for them, to show them how to do things, what they're doing, how they're supposed to do it, looking after them. So leadership can be in any amount. It's not always, you have 100 people underneath you, and you're making so much money, etc. Leadership can come in any form. Even as parents, we are leaders. Showing our little ones how this world works, what to look out for, and we all have our own sort of way in which we lead. We're not, all number ones aren't going to be the same. So everyone's leadership style is different, but leadership is not only in the corporate world, it's in everyday life. It's also about how you lead yourself, how you carry yourself. So in this reading, I'd also like you to just think about, where are you feeling the urge to lead? Where are you feeling that, you can lead or you should be leading? And hopefully by the end of this reading, you feel confident enough to take that first step towards, you know, approaching that goal of yours. Okay, number ones, we're going to start off with your current energy. And we're just going to see what the vibe is right now, and what you guys feeling, how things are right now. So let's see what your current energy is right now. Okay, number ones, let's go. Damn. Okay. It's a lot of power. Okay, the Knight of Cups. We have the Pentacles, the Knight of Cups. Okay, so number ones, what's your main energy? We have the Six of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands, the Knight of Cups. From the Six of Pentacles, I kind of get a feeling of, the theme, I think here it's giving, helping, you're supporting, you're being relied on and you're providing, but not from a place where you want to be doing all of that from. The Nine of Wands, it's tired, guarded. I think wounded is a bit of a strong word, but I think it's more of like, you've been hurt, you're tired, you're exhausted. However, you're still carrying on, because that's what number ones do. Do you get me? You guys are that pillar. And you're that pillar because, look again, the Knight of Cups, you're soft-hearted, like I said, emotional longing, and you want sincerity. Like I said, you want to be babied, you want to be loved. And it's like, how do I say it? Quite tough on the outside and quite warm and quite soft on the inside. But like a brownie. Brownies are nice though. Who doesn't like a brownie? So I think the core message here at the moment, it's about strong on the outside and you're tired and worn out on the inside, and you want to open up emotionally, but you're just not sure how to do it, which can be a struggle at times. The energy that I'm getting so far, it's not how you're used to feeling, and it's not something you felt before. The loud, confident, outgoing, unstoppable version that you're used to. Like, it's not this at the moment. And it feels like the people that you used to speak to in your, let's say, your prime as such, when you're outgoing and you're that person. But right now, you're not sort of getting along, or they're not really matching your vibe. And there's a saying like, just because you fit there doesn't mean you belong there. So with the Six of Pentacles, I feel like you've been given a lot on your plate, but you're also at the same time. With the Six of Pentacles, I feel you've been giving a lot, like, a lot of your energy, a lot of your time, You've been giving out a lot of emotional support. You've been giving out advice to those who seek it, and in some cases, like even lending friend or family money. And you've always shown up, and you've always shown up, and because you carry that leadership energy, people naturally see you as like, yeah, they'll just sort it out for us, or they'll fix it. And sometimes that's a lot of weight to carry. So just because you can handle something doesn't mean you need to handle it. That's not really fair, right? Like, you need a break as well. So within the Nine of Wands, there's like, you're trying to protect yourself, but it's not happening at the moment. Because you're not used to doing that, but you're still going, you're still showing up. But it's just kind of like, you've been through a lot. You've been there, done that, you want to take a break, go on a holiday. If you're thinking about a holiday, trust me, take it. It's the right chance to take. It might be a bit expensive depending on where you're going and where you're traveling from, but take a holiday. So be it local. Take a weekend trip to maybe Airbnb somewhere local, or if you are planning a trip with your family, it doesn't have to be extravagant. Perhaps to a local theme park, or even just go for a walk, man. Just give yourself some time. You need it. Take that deep breath, that fresh air. Just take it. It doesn't matter what kind of break it is. It doesn't matter for how long it is. Give yourself that time. You've been giving your time and your energy to other people, to other things. But now it's time, for a long time, to give yourself time. So that's time, just for you. Okay, do things that you like. Do things that make you happy. It could be as simple as binge watch a show, have your favorite snack, indulge just slightly. Of course, too much of something isn't good, but until you feel content. Because right now, number ones, you're not feeling content, and that's the issue. That self of that feeling of um, fulfillment, content, happiness. All of those things are quite new to you in a way. Like, whoa, where did this come from? But yeah, so until you feel content and satisfied, you know don't jump out again. Give yourself that time. And with the Knight of Cups, it's that softer feeling underneath, behind all that strength, and behind all that smiles, and being the like in school we learn like mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. You guys are that mitochondria. You guys are the powerhouse of that party, of that family, or that powerhouse of that friendship group. And but now you're tired. So like I said, take some time out. You still want that peace, and you still want that someone who will come towards you. Sometimes you just want someone to get you, even when you haven't said a word. You're just like, they look at your face and they're like, you know what, I know what you want, I know what you need. Come on, let's go. Or and sometimes, in my previous video, I said that it's expectations. Of course, you shouldn't keep any expectations from anyone as such, that they'll look out for you or that they'll call you. Maybe you can nudge someone, maybe one of your close friends, like, oh, hey bro, what you doing? Let's just go out for a drive, or let's go out for a walk. Let's go out for a cup of coffee, or something like that. So, away from the loud scene a bit more, just calm, relaxed, and just taking it all in, I think, which is really important. Um, so your main energy is like, you are strong, yes, but that strength it's going, it's depleting slowly. Not forever, not forever. Until you recharge. When your phone dies, you charge it, don't you? And sometimes the battery gets weak if you charge it too much. So again, it's finding that balance between giving your energy, your time, and but also charging yourself, and when it's the right time to charge it. Are you going to charge it when you're 80% remaining, or when you have 20% remaining? And how are you going to charge it? Fast charger, slow charger? So that's all the kind of things that you need to think about. Number one, how are you charging yourself up? Because this summer is going to be amazing for you guys, but you need to be charged and ready to enjoy that summer. You're not cold, you're not heartless, but it might come across like that because you've had enough. But nevertheless, let's see what the numbers say now. So the Six of Pentacles, it shows responsibility. You know, it shows like your that shoulder to cry on. You know, it's about giving again. So Nine of Wands, nine. You know, nine's about fulfillment. It's about completion. But at the same time, it also signs towards, exhaustion. You know, sometimes it could be you're kind of thinking too much about the past. Maybe a person, maybe an incident. Um, so don't open them unnecessary wounds. You know, yes, okay, it's the past, and don't delve too much into the what ifs. We have the Knight of Cups. The number here, I feel 12, which adds up to a 3. It's about, I think, emotional expression. You're trying to find that gateway, that medium perhaps, or that sort of way where you can express yourself. Be creative, but at the same time, I think it's more for your heart is longing to speak, but you just don't know how to, and you want someone to hold your hand and be like, it's okay, we'll get through this, just speak your mind. So overall, the total comes to 9 for the cards here. So it's a cycle of overgiving, and now I think that cycle is complete. So, like I said, this summer is going to be banging, guys. But that's if you um, work on yourself in terms of knowing when to charge yourself and knowing when to open so many apps at the same time. So think about it. So that overgiving cycle is coming to an end, which is the good news. You've been given too much, carrying too much. Um, People have been taking advantage of you because you do too much. People have been taking advantage of you because you give and you help, maybe too much sometimes. So it's about finding that balance. With the Six of Pentacles, the responsibility energy, you have sort of now. Um, so the Sixth of Pentacle brings the sixth energy, which is about responsibility and support, and it's all about giving as well. But you've been the person who's been doing it. But right now, I think that's coming to an end. You're going to be your own person, and you're going to now be able to focus on your goals that you've been putting off for a very long time. So the goals are sometimes, some of them I think are very simple. You don't want anything extravagant. It's like I want to sort my cupboard out, for example, or clean my shed or garage or whatever. I need to clean my car, wash my car, because you guys are very well planned out people. You know what you're doing. You have a blueprint for your life, but sometimes it's the small tasks that get in the way. But now finally, I think you'll be able to manage those tasks a lot more fluidly, because you'll be focusing on yourself, and you will get some sort of contentness and fulfillment from the smaller tasks, funny enough, because you've done the big things. So overall, for the main energy, you're tired, you want to relax, but you don't want to do it on your own, because I think you've had enough of being on your own and you're tired of just doing everything now. So it's a time to sort of just chill out, and that someone, I have a feeling that you guys know who that someone is that you can rely on, and that they've also been in the shadows, but you've kept them in the shadows. They might be like constantly liking stuff on your social media. They might be subtly just be keeping themselves in your mind. Sometimes they say out of sight, out of mind, but they have, I think, constantly they've been in your mind because they've been in front of you in some shape or form. Maybe it could be something that you do or something that happens that reminds you of them. So that person, you are aware of them. Drop them a message. Hey, how's it going? It's been a while. Let's go for coffee. Simple as. You lose nothing. Trust me, it's okay to initiate sometimes. So do it. Okay, so now moving on to your pressure and blocks. Okay, so number ones, now we're going to move on to your pressure blocks. We'll see what's maybe causing you some pressure. We'll also see what's blocking the things that you want, materialistically and otherwise. So, it could be anything. So, let's see what the cards are saying. Mix them all up again. But I think so far the energy, it's I think right now for the energy for you number ones is that one can be a lonely number, but a lot of the times things are incomplete without the one, and just like the zero sometimes, like you're a wholesome number, you're very let's say you're quite strict from the outside and very soft from the inside. You guys are very, you come across as like you guys are the shit, or you guys are the shit, don't get me wrong. But it's more like, sometimes you want to be loved as well. And you don't want to be the one that's always giving the love and that's always showing up. You want to be babied. I think that's the right word. You want to be babied. I think who doesn't like being babied, right? Okay, so what are your pressure blocks rather? Let's see what's stopping you from being unlimited. Cool, let's see. Okay. So the Knight of Cups again. That's interesting. Okay. Cards, guides, spirit guides. Do you guys want to do anything else? You want to turn any cards over? You never know, the magic. Let's see what the pressure and the blocks are. So Knight of Cups again. It's a strong energy, but also it's repeating itself again. I think that points towards that longing. Like you want that emotional support. Four of Swords is about rest, recovery, like I said, charge, mental exhaustion and silence. You're looking for peace. Leaders also need to rest and rejuvenate and kind of recalibrate themselves to find that right direction. The King of Wands, again, confidence, leadership, public strength, and fire. Now when I look at this, it's a feeling like there's two versions of you, and they're both conflicting right now. There's a version of you that wants to rest and has had enough, but there's a version of you that still wants to keep going on. But you can still keep going on, but just slow down a bit. The King of Wands is a version that people see at the moment, where you're hiding everything, you're masking everything, you're smiling, you're still going out and about, and but sometimes in all of this hustle and bustle where you're leading and doing stuff, you kind of forget to rest, and you forget to actually feel who you are and reflect on what you want to focus on, and what you're feeling right now. Some of you are you keep thinking, you might feel like as if, oh, I've been quite sleepy recently, and that sleepy, I mean, yeah, okay, you feel sleepy, which is fine, but this sleepy is from it's from being drained out. You don't have any energy within you to keep going on, and therefore you need that rest. It's a thing. It's not. I think it's a sign. I think that has come back again for this section of the reading. So it's not a small thing. It's a big sort of thing that is like staring you in the face. Like you need to just give yourself some time. So for number ones, where you guys are that pillar, where you guys are that strength, you are the one that's organizing everything, leading everything, be it at work or your personal life. You just want to sit back and not do anything for once, which can be hard. And like I said, that conflicting nature, because then not everything will be the way you want it to be. But I guess there's an opportunity cost with everything. So, I think that's the block where you're not willing to give up that responsibility. I won't say control because that's a very strong word, but that responsibility, you don't want to give it completely in case maybe someone might do it better than you. Harsh truth, but it's a possibility. You might feel like you're letting yourself down, or you're letting your people down, but that's not the case. Right now, you don't need that. If your phone is charged to 100%, for example, you're not going to leave it plugged in now, are you? So, you'll charge it when it's 0% or 20% or whatever. So I keep using this phone thing because it's a lot more relatable. So similarly, right now, the time for you isn't to take that responsibility. The time for you right now is to take a step back. Maybe, just maybe, if you take that step back, you might be able to take a bigger responsibility. There might be something that's waiting for you that that you need to give away this responsibility away in order to take a bigger responsibility. You can't do both. Maybe the universe is saying, sit back, wait, something bigger and better is coming your way. And when it comes to finding that person to connect with, um, that longing of belonging to someone, it will end soon, but you need to let go of your ego. Yes, let go of your ego and message or approach first and wait and watch. Even the numbers, you have the Four of Swords. In this context, it comes to, again, rest, rejuvenation, peace, recovery. Like even if you go gym or if you work out or something, your body needs rest to recover. You give it the right nutrition, the right fuel, and you do better. And that's what you need right now. Your mind needs rest, your body needs rest, your soul needs some rest so it can grow, so it can become stronger and better. The Knight of Cups again, with the three, with the 12 to the 3, is that unspoken emotional sort of, I won't say baggage, but you're bottling it up, and I don't know for what. They are, yeah, you're bottling it up. Write it down. Write it down and burn the paper. Might make you feel better. But get it out of your system. It's really important that you get it out of your system. I think with the King of Wands again, 14 to the 5. 5, I think, is what? Freedom. But you're not looking for financial freedom. You're not looking for, adventure freedom. I think you're looking for freedom from what you're feeling right now. And the only way that's going to come again is through rest, believe it or not. Give yourself that time. Take it easy. Okay, now we're going to move on to your love life. Like I said, you guys want to be babied. Who doesn't like being babied? Cool. So, love. Let's see what's there. I mean, I get a very all wild vibe from your number ones at the moment. Not trying to be inappropriate at all. But I think there's a lot of push and pull going on with a certain someone. It's not healthy. So stop it. Okay, you either stick with them or you say your goodbyes and move on. Okay? There is passion with the Knight of Wands. There's definitely passion, okay, so don't get me wrong. Hence why I said I don't want to be inappropriate, but you guys need to sort of make your minds up. That push and pull, it could go down a really bad rabbit hole. So, yeah, be careful. The devil comes in the center, in the middle, which, it's quite hard to ignore because it's probably, if that person is good for you or maybe not. And I think the answer is staring you in the face, and I think you're choosing to, in the heat of things, I think you're choosing to ignore what's good for you. And I think you're kind of being, I won't say complacent, but I think you want to live in the moment, but you're not doing it the right way. But at the same time, it also shows a form of attachment, obsession, which is not really good, jealousy to an extent. But I think in this case, the attachment is mental attachment. The attachment is of the heart, you know, and I think you need to stop beating yourself about letting that one go. I think, you know, um, the one that got away, so to speak, and it's messing with your mind. It's messing with your whole system. You might be going about your everyday life, but I think in the back of your mind, that person keeps coming up. And I think maybe that push and pull could be with your thoughts and with the idea again of what could have been. So don't be lost in the what ifs. I mean, if that person is single and you guys left on good terms, maybe a hi hello would be okay. But then again, don't be, you know, all happy days if they reply and then the next day you don't message and you feel as if like, oh yeah, no, I can't be bothered now. Don't do that. That's not fair on them, and of course it's not fair on you either. So please be good, okay? Be good. But with the Eight of Pentacles, it doesn't say that it will be a bad connection. For example, it's probably a work in progress. You know, but if someone is actually kind of working on this connection, including you, are you doing it for the right reasons? Are you willing to be with them through the phase that they're going through, and are they willing to be with you through the phase that you're going through, and help each other kind of grow, take those steps to improve each other, um, um, you know, in the ways that you both need improving. So, of course, emotional investment is important, as you can see, but I think it's also important that the method used in this relationship, if you take it up, it might not even be romantic, to be fair. It could just be with a friend, or it could be with a family member, could be anything. But whatever the relationship, you need to really just think about, is this person worth my time? Is this person worth my energy? And can we help each other? So I was getting a friends with benefits vibe in the beginning, but now I think it's a lot more serious than that. So that give and take is about emotional give and take. It's about helping each other learn and improve, give and take. And it's also about, are you both willing to listen to each other? Listening is the hard part, you know so that's the vibe with the Eight of Pentacles. And for those of you who are single, I say this, so you're aware. Just because someone's being nice and you feel charmed by them, or for example, there might be someone you maybe in the talking stages, for example, go meet them, fine, no problem. But just don't be like daydreaming about them. Like in Grey's Anatomy, like you have McDreamy. Yeah, so don't just be thinking about them 24/7. Don't give all of you so quickly. Be cautious. to say the least. Just be cautious. Just because things are working out or look or feel decent, yeah, just wait. Just wait, okay? If you've give them at least 6 to 7 months, or give this relationship that you want to go into 6 or 7 months. If you're in it already, still give it 6 or 7 months if you have recently come into this relationship. Um, and for some people who are already in a relationship, be it marriage or otherwise or anything like that, similar, best friends or married, yeah, you guys are tired, man. You guys are very tired. You're tired of the one listening. You're tired of one not raising your not as not shouting on it, but not being vocal about the issues. You're compromising too much, and I think that time of compromising has helped you though. That's the funny thing, because it's made you a bit more mellow. I won't say it's put you back into your place, but it's showed you that sometimes, you know what, it's okay just to be quiet, and that's helped you a lot. Because now that's going to help you with your main energy. Now that's going to help you with your main energy. It's going to help you to calm down. It's going to help you to relax. It's going to help you to reset. So all in all, it's not too bad. But yeah, there's a lot of crazy, spicy stuff going on, guys. So just be careful. Okay. No, what's up? Okay, cool. So let's see. Number one, so let's see what we have for the career, study, and direction. We have the Empress, we have the Tower, and we have the Ten of Swords. Okay, the Empress reflects growth, creativity. I think it's all about you want to let that emotion express kind of thing. But I feel as if this is your strongest suit so far. So it's about creativity, abundance, and about potential. You want to unlock that potential, something that's there, but you just need to do some work on it, I suppose. And creation. It could be things like, I think you already have maybe some of you are on the side hustle or something, and it's working out really well. I think it's time to give it more time. I think some of you have some maybe old drafts. When you have old drafts of work that you've done, or maybe ideas rather nowadays. So many different ideas. I think it's time to unlock one of those ideas and get to work. The Tower, sudden change, collapse, realization, and I think about old structure breaking, and this is exactly what I was talking about. This is all about how you are now, from that main powerhouse, from that mitochondria kind of feeling, you are the powerhouse. Now it's a bit more mellow, it's a lot more relaxed. You're in a new version of yourself now, where you don't care about responsibility, you don't care about being the one leading, so to speak, but you're more of like focusing on yourself, focusing on your ideas. You're building yourself up again with new information, with new data, with new knowledge. I think that's the best thing. And these two together, blimey, you guys, you could probably come up with a new version of AI or something super soon, if that's something you like. But yeah, you guys are on it. Get an idea. Take your ideas out of you dust that sort of diary or that book of yours. Open up where all your ideas are and get creating, get making, and start rebuilding. So with this, that restlessness, that tiredness that I'm talking about, and that we have been, that's been a constant theme throughout your reading. It will come to an end. I'm not saying it's ending. It will come to an end, provided that you do rest, you do recharge, you do give yourself time. Then nothing will stop you. And this time, when you do get going, the best thing would be that you will feel fulfillment, you will feel contentment, you will feel that you're giving back to the world in a positive way. But more importantly, you're giving back to yourself. You're following your heart, following your dreams. You've done the way things that society wants or wanted you to do. It could be your, if your parents wanted you to be an engineer or a doctor or some sort of other field that people wanted you to go into, and you thought, oh yeah, you know what, I might as well do it because I'm good at it. For example, if you're good at maths, you might just go into engineering. Or, if you're good at science, you might just go into chemistry or medicine or something. But now it's time to follow your heart, your desires rather. And I've known people who have left medicine to then go pursue finance, for example, and that's too early stages of their studies. So, if you are in two minds, follow the one that people would say don't do it. Trust me. But again, be thoughtful. So, the Empress kind tells me you have potential, you have talent, and that's something and that's something I know as well, that you have that talent and you have the ability to create. So now, rather than leading someone else's projects, rather than leading someone else's team, it's time to lead your own, lead yourself. It's saying that you're not lacking the ability, I think you're lacking the energy. I think this is where I get that feeling where you're worried that it's lonely at the top. But yes, it's lonely at the top where you are, in that materialistic sort of corporate world vibe of leadership, of being at the top, of made it. You have that, you've made it, fantastic, amazing. But this new sort of dimension of making it is different. It's a lot more mellow, it's a lot more softer, it's a lot more kinder, so to speak. So it will be lonely in terms of, management or organizing this whole venture of yours, but the fulfillment, the steps you take, the people you meet on the way, I think this will be where that feeling of being lonely at the top goes away. So do it. You've achieved what you thought was worth achieving. Now it's time to achieve what's actually worth achieving, and that's your happiness, your fulfillment, your contentment. So, number one, I genuinely cannot wait for you guys to be born again. I think what are couple of months from now, you'll be where you want to be and where the universe wants you to be, and then the beginning of 2027 is where that feeling of contentment actually sits in, where your relationship that you've been working on works out, where this idea of yours works out. So, all in all, number one, start creating again. If it's content, push that video forward, rebuild and shed away the old you, because this new you is amazing. This is what I was saying. So, how you have to let go of the current responsibility, rest, and then this is what you build. Fantastic. Okay? Fantastic. All right, cool. This is pretty neat. Okay, so number ones, let's talk about money, because money matters. It's all about the money, money, money. All right, cool. So, first of all, the number of cards just on its own speaks volumes, and I think you'll have volumes of money and volumes of ways of making money. So, all in all, the money that's coming in for you, number ones, it's coming through your skill, through some form of advertisement or being out there, and by word of mouth, and by showcasing what you bring to the table and what your product or services are capable of. It might sound general, it might sound like, yeah, but everyone needs to do that. Everyone needs to promote their product. But I'm talking about in a way of talking about it in with people generally, going networking and finding your target audience, finding the people who need your services or your product. For example, I know someone who was starting their own real estate business, and what they did was they went and sat in the lobby of a really, really expensive hotel chain, in one of the hotels, and just struck a conversation and sort of built his initial network or clientele that way. So it might feel uncomfortable, it might feel a bit difficult, but trust me, once you get the flow, things will start falling into place. So we have the Five of Swords. So this, I think, is talking about a lot your ego, and not to make any financial, business, or any money making decisions or money spending decisions based on ego. For example, if you know someone that's done a business and you know what, you feel a bit. So if you know someone, for example, that's who has a successful business, who's doing really well, don't let your ego take over. Let them be. Comparison is the biggest killer of happiness. Don't compare yourself. So don't let your ego get in the way. And at the same time, don't fake it till you make it. Don't do that. It's not. It doesn't suit you guys, and it wouldn't really, it wouldn't really work well or work in your favor. Also, this indicates to me that don't compete with people who are not on your path or in the field that you are going to be working in or that your idea is about. That's unnecessary. You don't need to do that. Just focus on yourself. You're good at doing that. So keep the focus like that. And don't try with this new idea when you start it or when you are starting it. The intention behind it should not be that you want to prove someone wrong. So no, I get a feeling that you want to show someone that you can also do it or that you're better than them or whatever. No, we don't want those conflicting energies. We want to just focus on ourselves, and we just want to make sure that the work that we are doing is for a greater cause, is for a good cause, and that along the way we can help people improve the quality of their lives in any shape or form. And the King of Wands at the end with the Seven of Cups here, I kind of feel like, like I said, the volume. You have too many options and you have too many ideas. Maybe it's your number one brain that's just, non-stop thinking about different things to do. So you have too many ideas at the moment and like too many options, which could also be a block, to be fair. But it could be different types of jobs. It could be different side hustle ideas, different business ideas, different investment ideas, maybe different creative projects, or different kind of services you could provide to make money. So like some of you are kind of well, the issue here isn't the lack of ways of making money, you know, or the lack of opportunity. It's the thing is, the problem is you have too much choice. So I think that's what's causing the issue from you making money. So you need to find that focus, find that one thing, make that decision, commit to it, and work on it. It can only happen because your mind is naturally ambitious, so therefore you will have so many different ideas and you want to do all of them, which is fantastic, fine. But do one, make it amazing, make the money from it, and then perhaps start the other one. You can already see the bigger picture, which is not everyone can. Everyone gets stuck within the small bits and bobs. But the thing is, because you're looking at the bigger picture, you're trying to see what the end goal will be like, and that's equally as bad, being stuck in the small bits and bobs. Don't worry about the bigger picture because it could change as you go along. But until you don't start, you wouldn't know if it's going to work out or not, or if it's worth your time and energy, or what, you know, if it's worth the capital that you're putting into it. So with the Six of Wands, it tells me that the money is connected to visibility. So it's not a hidden money energy. It's like it's being seen. You kind of, so once you make that decision of what you want to do, because you guys are natural leaders, that money will be seen, of course, but at the same time, it's about how, you know, you will be noticed. It's about you. You'll be noticed. The money will come through you showing off your skills that you have. It'll be to do with like, it could be, it's to do with like public, so it'll be people facing idea that could or maybe will work for you. But the hardest part is like, putting yourself forward. So you need to put yourself forward, build that reputation. And like I said to you, beginning of next year is where it's all going to become very fruitful for yourself. So it could be, leading workshops. Maybe you want to, for example, you're already skilled in, let's say, cybersecurity, and you've been working on cyber for a corporate company or wherever, but now you want to, take the next step, go on to do something on your own. So now maybe start giving workshops to companies, become a contractor in that sense, become a training company where you train people. That's also leadership. Teaching is also leadership. So, it could also be selling something as well, but it's about allowing people to see your value. Not saying sell yourself as such, like, but it's about doing something where people see the value that you've put into it already. Like, you've, because of you, this product or this service is a lot more better now. This idea, this content, or this field of content is a lot more better now. So, the money is connected to visibility. You will need to make yourself visible. Of course, if it's a product, you need to make that visible. But, be the face if it needs, if you need to be. So yeah, it's all about building that reputation from the beginning. Maybe speak to some connections, speak to people that already are in it or who you think might benefit from, your idea or from your product or service. And the King of Wands, you know, it's leadership money. Like, lead the way with it. It's business money, it's a personal brand, it's about you. It's about you having confidence in your direction, in your gut feeling, in your intuition. Trust it. Money comes when you stop waiting for permission and just move on, and you just start and you move on with the idea. You are the owner of that idea, you're the owner of your life, you're the owner of your decision. you know and maybe that one decision that you take now could feed generations to come. Maybe your coming generations might not even have to work. That's how much money you can make. This message that money can improve. That's only if you stop chasing every option. Oh, let me do a bit of that, let me do a bit of that. Yes, you're good at everything, and being the jack of all trades is amazing. I love it. But for this particular sort of part in your life, it's important that you sit down and think about one option and follow it through. Maybe along the way, if it doesn't make sense, then that's a different story. Then you can deal with it as and when. But for now, have a steady direction, and there's lots of money, lots and lots of money to be made for you guys, by you guys especially. So yeah, there's a lot of money to be made. Don't compare, don't compete unnecessarily. If you're comparing in terms of like, oh, their product is very good, how can I make it better? Yeah, fair enough, fine. But if they're not on your path or in your journey, don't unnecessarily sort of just just don't cause drama. Okay, don't cause drama. Focus on yourself and focus on your idea. So number one's coming onto uh, the people around you. It's giving me, sort of, I feel as if you know you want to trust people, but you can't find the right reason to trust them. you know I mean, it's not like you don't want to trust anyone, but the tower speaks. Some people are showing you their true colors, or their true colors will be revealed to you sooner than later. It could be in, like, I think, 3 weeks' time, perhaps. It could be in 3 days, 3 hours. And I think you'll sort of own that relationship, but there will be at least one stable person or one stable energy. And I think it could be an older person in the family or in your circle. It could be a mentor. I feel as if, it could be someone maybe that's passed away. Like, some things of theirs or some memories, some things are reminding you of them, and I think they might be that force behind what you do. So don't ignore it. The universe speaks to you in many ways. So it's our job to understand what is being said to us. So I think it could be something from them, just guiding you towards the path that you're meant to be on. But in particular, it's some sort of a father figure, a person who's grounded. They're not they're not flashy as such. They're not. How do I say it? They're not so outgoing as such, but they're very calm. They're very everyone knows of them, but not many people sort of approach them or speak with them as such. And out of the blue, you'd sort of just connect with them. So and build that really good relationship. So yeah. So remember, I was saying that there could be someone in your mind that they're coming to your mind, but you're just hesitant to approach them. It could be that it's this person that you're hesitant to message, but nevertheless, still drop them a line again, asking them, "How's it going? Long time no see. Let's grab a cup of coffee." Or I have a really cool idea you might be interested in. Do you want to hear me out? Or anything. Just get that conversation going. And this also links back into like let your ego go. Trust the people that have built with you from the beginning. It could be a childhood friend. It could be a school friend. Someone that you weren't maybe close to back in the day as such, but now might be the right time for you to connect with them and get in touch. But the important thing here is to understand that whoever this person is, they ought to have not just used kind words or words that you wanted to hear. They should follow through with action. You can test that if you want to over the first couple of weeks. I won't leave it too long. But sometimes the reason why you feel quite lonely, people around you, but what people when you have no one, or when you feel lonely at least, it's because everyone around you, or everyone that has been around you, you haven't been able to depend on or rely on, and that's a really hard feeling to get over. When you're so involved in your own life, and you're so involved and you're so good at living your own life and so good at getting shit done that it's so difficult to rely on someone else. But sometimes, like I said before, again, hand that responsibility over. Think of it as a liability. That's something you don't have to worry about anymore. Maybe you can subtly in your mind just think about it here and there and have a progress check or whatever. But one, you don't need a bigger circle, and two, you don't need any more responsibility. So people around you, there's that one person who will be there for you, but it might be your job to find them. So with the King of Pentacles, is like they're a very mature person. They're quite of a significant figure, but it also could be that people are afraid of them for the wrong reasons, because they might be too strict, or they have certain ways of doing things. So yeah, like a grandfather in the family, like maybe a father. It could be an uncle, could be a friend, that is really, they're quite focused on their own life, or even from like childhood experience, that they like to keep to themselves, sort of thing, and no one really knows about them. They could be that hidden gem, because maturity is what is calling out, and they'll support you. They most certainly will support you. And with the Tower, like I said before, it'll be sudden realizations about people. You'll start connecting the dots now. But if the foundation of that relationship feels shaky, or you don't I won't say instantly, but after a couple of weeks, you don't really get that vibe, and you don't see them walking the walk and talking the talk, then I think you should distance yourself from that relationship. But all in all, people around you, you feel as if they're not dependable, which is fine, but give people a chance. They're also trying. You need stability and maturity, and then you need to anchor that life. And this time, so you need to anchor this path around you. And now the thing is, that anchor can't be you, because you can't be the anchor and do the work. So right now, you need that support to fall back onto, so you can carry out what it is that you need to do. Kiss number ones. What a powerful reading. What powerful cards, number one. What powerful cards. It's a whole I think there's a lot, the whole story going here. You have the Four of Swords. It's all about rest, peace, recovery. See, I told you recovery is important, and it's like that calm before the storm, but also like silence before, it's that little blur before things become clearer. The Two of Pentacles about balancing, you know, making the decision between, two priorities. It could be, again, to do with the way you are right now and how you want to become, or it could be jobs, business, money, a lot of uncertainty. I think if some of you are about to get married or are looking to get married, I think it's a major choice between who, how, where, but also, making sure that their values match your values as such. What cards? Maybe there's a lot that you don't know what's coming your way, but with the priestess, things about intuition, like trust your gut feeling. Maybe there's some things that you are not aware of are going to start coming out, and I think that calls for reflection, but also at the same time just dealing with each thing as it comes, rather than bottling it up and exploding at the end. So you need to just take a step back, because a lot of things that might be revealed to you guys that you were not aware of as such. I mean, I hope most of them are good, but you never know. And then we have the sun. The sun, clarity, truth, confidence, visibility. And I get that visibility links again in with money, how you're going to bring that money in, how you're going to become visible. And then we have the Hanged Man. It's that delay, maybe in that decision making, maybe delay in, it could be connecting with a higher being. Maybe your faith in God is being restored. But also at the same time, it's about new perspective. Like I said to you, you guys are turning over a new leaf, so to speak. But you've been used to this sort of a way for a very long time, the way you are, or where you were rather, and now you're going into this whole different person who hasn't seen this side. So it's about that new perspective. We have the Four of Swords. Sorry, yes, we have the Strength as well. That's self-explanatory. That inner power, patience, and it's about emotional intelligence, about that emotional strength. It could be using that to gain customers. It could be you're understanding yourself, or it could also be that you're forging and making new relationships. So it's about that inner strength. Yes, physical strength as well to go out there and do the work, but at the same time, it's all about the inner strength. Having a strong mind. And the Four of Swords. Again, this has been a constant theme about rest and recovery. This tells me it's a bit like the blur before the focus. So hopefully you get to make that decision, and you make that decision that you feel is right. I say feel. Of course, you're going to do the analysis as it is, but your gut may say something else. So it's and I think it's important to take that into consideration. Then you have the Two of Pentacles, which again, balance. Is that balance between emotion? There's a balance between the two decisions, or it's a balance between maybe where you are, where you want to be, but also paving that path and balancing the journey to to that path. But I think again, it could be, like I said, with how the money comes in. You have so many different options, so many different opportunities, and I think it's about time you start weighing them up and making that one decision. And then we have the lovers, a major choice. Maybe for those of you who are single and are looking to get married or in a relationship, maybe you're looking, the person that you're thinking about, maybe you're just checking or confirming that your values match, that you're on the same page, and that, because it is a big decision. Anything to do with love right now, guys, that's coming to you, it's going to be a big decision, and I really hope. So what you don't see coming is quite powerful, because there are a lot of major cards here. The high priestess tells me that deep down you already like know something. Your intuition has been speaking to you, like I told you. Maybe that's something in your mind, that idea, a person that you haven't spoken to. You felt something about that business idea, about that person. So you kind of know where you've been sort of jumping back and forth between. But now it's a time where you sort of now put your head down and be like, I can't be waiting for any more proof. I need to deal with the information I have and make a decision. The sun is saying that proof and clarity and truth will come into light, but you need to start taking some steps. Until you don't start walking on those decisions or those actions, if you don't take them, how are things going to come to you? How are you going to get into reach, within the reach of them? So as you go, you unfold new things about yourself, about the path that you're on, about that business journey, about that relationship. You wouldn't come into the information that's waiting for you to be collected. A bit like Mario collecting coins, but you have to jump and then go. So it's a bit like that. You have to work for that information. So yeah. So so number one, so like the sun's coming out. It's massive confirmation. This is your ruling energy. You guys are strong. You guys are leaders. You're gonna shine bright. Your identity, who you are. Love yourself. The more you love yourself, the more money you're going to make. Obviously, the more confident you'll feel. But things, I'm not saying become obsessive with yourself and always make it about you. I'm just saying know yourself, know your strengths, know your weaknesses. It's about being content with yourself. That's the journey that you're on now. You're finding that contentness. As you go along that journey, a lot of things on their own will start to reveal about people, about things. That's how things are. From this, I get a feeling, and like the spirit guides are like sort of pointing me towards something that, yes, you feel frustrated right now. You do something, but nothing's happening. But I'm just saying, don't give up right now. It's not the time to give up. I know you like momentum, you like movement, but don't give up. Just keep going. A hidden opportunity, a hidden truth. The truth that you've already sensed out. That feeling, that opportunity, you already know about it, but you only know the tip of the iceberg about it. But resting, recovering, taking a step back, breathing and pausing, all of that is part of that answer, is part of that. So with the Four of Swords, your mind it needs peace, it needs quiet. You can't function with it, with so much noise that's going on. In between two paths, two priorities, it could be two jobs. It could be two versions of yourself, is what I've been saying. So stop fighting, just take a deep breath and just relax. Okay, just relax. And then with the sun, and then the strength card again. Your power again. Your power now is not reacting. Your power is in consistency, small steps, the compound effect. Do things, do them at a scale where you can manage them, where you can manage yourself. You just need to become still enough to be recognized. By that I mean is that if you're all over the place, you're doing this, you're doing that, running from A to B all the time, no one's going to really see you. And no one's going to really know what's going on. And I think you're sick and tired of not being seen. So your answer here is just to chill out, relax, take small steps, take a break, love yourself, okay? Balance the two decisions that you want to make. Could be in two different things. Could be your love life, could be your work life, it could be in the same thing, like worried about two jobs. Which one shall I take? And then, so ultimately, I'm going to say, trust your gut. Trust what you're feeling, okay? Because you already know the answer. You already know what job to take. And sometimes it is obvious and you look for signs, etc. But don't. Just trust yourself. Love yourself. You know, use that inner strength to love yourself, to balance those decisions, to rest. Okay? Okay, so number one, welcome to your final to the final part of your reading. And this is just some last final advice from Spirit Guides, my 2 cents, and from the cards, of course. Quite straightforward, to be fair. You know, the Five of Swords is saying stop fighting battles that make you lose yourself. You know, like I said with the money one, you know, don't get into other people's business. You know, they could be wrong or whatever. Do it the right way, fine, I understand, raise your voice, but don't do it unnecessarily. Maybe that's why you feel so conflicted with things. You know, stop trying to prove yourself or to prove a point. People who really aren't really committed to you, to your cause. You know, if they want to misunderstand you, let them. That's their problem. But of course, if it's affecting you mentally, if it's affecting your work, if it's affecting your business, take the right course of action within the law, or you know, just ignore them. Perhaps block them on WhatsApp or block them if you don't want anything to do with them. Quite strong vibes on that note that people might don't really want to see you succeed. But to be fair, they don't know you're already successful, so let them think. Um, Shower thoughts. Have positive shower thoughts, but stop replaying. You know, again the what ifs. Stop playing the conversations. You know, like sometimes we think, "Oh, I wish I hadn't said that," or whatever. Some embarrassing moments. So yeah, let it go. It's done. You can't go back in time and you can't change it. You can only learn from it and become better. Okay. Um, you've been giving your mental energy to people who don't really deserve it, and I think it's a high time that you stop now. I say that with the most, like, in the nicest way possible. Just stop it now. Like, you've done it. It's not working out. I think it's time to let go, which can be difficult, but it needs to be done. You know, number ones usually like to win and can win arguments, but that sometimes comes at the cost of losing people and losing your own mental peace. And I don't think losing any of them is worth it. So don't worry about winning arguments. Like I said to you, it's the time to, like, become zen. Just relax. It's okay. It's, sometimes the right answer is no answer. Like, the right thing to do is just say nothing. Yeah, okay, cool, you're right. End of story. Let them have that. And then we have the Six of Swords. You know, it's saying move away. It's saying move away from that. They both link beautifully. So, like, yeah, move away from that sort of behavior, that pattern, and those sort of people. You know, move away from the mental noise. Move away from the drama, the emotional drainage. You don't need that. Move away from the people and situations that play mind games. And time again, you have trusted a situation, a person, to get out of this, and they've promised, oh yeah, it won't be like this, I promise, and still that they've gone on to disappoint you. But that situation you've been in more than once, let's just say. You've been in it multiple times and the result is still the same. So again, be aware. Don't do it now, okay? It's not going to be right for you. For example, if you've just been keep giving someone money again and again, and they'll say they'll give it to you, but they haven't been, or it's a promise someone's made to you, or someone comes, they keep pulling you into a situation where you have to lose your mental peace, and then you end up in survival mode. You don't need that. So don't do it. Okay, don't do it. Trust yourself. Keep saying that. Trust yourself. Someone's playing like mental games with you. Don't keep going back to them. It's not worth it. Then we have the Page of Cups. And then we have the Page of Cups, and it's important because it says that the feeling with the Page of, and then we have the Page of Cups. With the Page of Cups, I'm feeling that, it's a bit, you're worried about this new you, how it will be portrayed, and how and what people will feel. Well, one, it doesn't matter what they think, as long as you're not being rude, as long as you're not hurting anyone, um, that's fine. But there'll be a shift in your behavior, of course. You'll be setting boundaries, and you'll be protecting yourself. You'll be softer, but don't lose that softness, and don't go. So don't lose that softness. But also, like, I think the balance when we had in the previous section, about what you don't see coming, that balance is really important. And I think that balance between the two personalities and where and when they come out is important. But yeah, people will think you've become colder and stuff, but you're not there to please them. Unless it's your mum, you listen to your mum. But yeah. So all in all, number ones, it's a time for you to just sort of, okay. So all in all, number ones, the whole reading, it's just been deeply connected to your sun energy. You are number one. You are leaders. You are confident. Sometimes you have clouds over the sun, which you can't then, when we're here on Earth, sometimes the rays are blocked. So you have certain things, certain people around you who are blocking the rays from reaching out, from shining, and from you sort of unleashing your true potential and fire, so to speak. Um, so you need to analyze your whole social circle and where you are. You need to kind of rebuild again. It's time for rebuilding. This is where it all starts again. You need to trust yourself. You need to love yourself. Okay. Just like how, for example, it's in the sun's nature to give heat. It's in the sun's nature to give light. That's how it's in your nature to keep going, to believe in yourself, to love yourself. So you ought to do it consciously. Okay, you have achieved and you will achieve more things, but there's certain things you've achieved right now, they don't match what you want to achieve and what you will achieve. Focusing on fulfillment and contentment, and not just in titles or making making let's say, so what I'm trying to say is that you don't want to make, but it's all about, what I'm trying to say is that you want to make money, yes, but you wouldn't care if you're not making so much, millions and millions. You have the potential and you may, but right now that's not your priority. Your priority is more of a contentment, more of a fulfillment, soul feeding work that you want to do. But now it's in your mind, can you carry on the way you're going? And I don't think you can. You need to pause, reset, reflect, rejuvenate, and then you need to restart. And you'll hit the ground running. You know, so right now, don't think of a point from pride or from survival. Don't think of a point from pressure. You need to think from a point of purpose, belonging, fulfillment. Um, set your boundaries. Don't worry about feeling lonely. Once you know that once you dig deeper into yourself, your mindset, your your let's say your faith again in the higher powers, things will start to feel better. You won't feel lonely. I promise you, you won't be lonely for too long, or that feeling won't stay for a very long time. You know, some things would have made sense in this reading. Some things may have felt a bit, yeah, I don't really think it applies to me. The point is, use it like a mirror. Use it as a point to reflect. It's about certain things may show up at a different time. Maybe this is just a sign that you need to Just take it easy. So, all in all, thank you so much for watching and listening. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. If you have any questions, you can see the link in my bio. If you have, again, any other questions, or feel free to comment them below. And also, if you liked the video, please do like, please do share, and do subscribe and leave a comment below. Really appreciate it. And thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely day ahead. And I really hope that things work your way. Number one, keep leading, keep loving, and keep living. Thank you so much.